Don't mind the hair, I just woke up. I'm gonna show you guys how I put on Transtape today. Yay, it's been taking forever, but here we go. So I'm gonna take my shirt off. I'm not binding at all, but my nipples are covered with Transtape guards, so woo! Okay, so I guess let's just go right into it. You're definitely gonna wanna get the removal oil, and you're definitely gonna wanna get the healing salve. Just to quick background about the stuff that I deal with. I have a skin condition called CIU, which basically means I get hives for no reason, and my skin gets really irritated, and super sensitive skin. So my application process is super important to me, because if I do it wrong, it's gonna mess me up. And it does mess me up sometimes, but I'm getting better, much better at doing it, and I actually haven't had any skin irritation the past few months that I've been doing it, because one of the reasons is I've been cutting corners. I've been cutting corners with my Transtape application, and you don't want to do that. You want to cut the corners. So I was lazy and like just cutting in and not rounding off the corners, and that was giving me mad blisters. So pro tip, don't be lazy, round your corners. And there's a whole scientific reason on why that works, because like you're creating much more surface area when you round it than a square where it's just going to be all that tension up at the point. So round your corners. I cut my tape in 3 sections, usually, always 3 sections. And this side of my chest is, I mean, I don't know how noticeable it is here, but it's noticeable to me. This side of my chest is much bigger than this side of my chest. So I typically need to use more tape on this side to get the same effect that I would with less tape on this side. So, a lot of people have asked me like how to get rid of the sticky situation that happens when you take it off, and you can use the removal oil to help loosen it, but what I found is rubbing alcohol helps get it off more quickly, I think. At least just the sticky residue, because I don't know, the oil helps take the tape off and like soften the adhesive, but sometimes it still get left behind, and then I just take the rest off with rubbing alcohol. And oh, ew, bleh, my skin's dirty. Another thing, another thing, if your skin is oily, the tape isn't going to stick, right? So you need to use a non-moisturizing soap. So like Dove isn't gonna work. Dove moisturizes your skin and deposits oil on your skin, and the tape isn't gonna stick to that. I use a soap called Irish Spring. It like makes my skin squeaky. It's super bad for your skin. It dries it out and everything, but that's the goal anyway for putting on your Transtape application. However, if you don't have a soap that does that for you, then just use rubbing alcohol and just rub down your area before, like I'm doing right now, because I haven't taken a shower and I am greasy. So just rub it down. It doesn't have to be crazy. Let it dry. How's it going? How you doing? Okay, so also definitely make the nipple guards, guys. Like, you don't want to rip your nipple off, it sucks. If you have a hairy chest, trim it, shave it a little bit, maybe, because ouch. Okay. All right. Ooh, smelly. Okay. So now we're doing it. All right. Come on. So peel off your tape. And now I'm going to do the big side first. I always do the big side first because this side is so much easier for me. So I'm going to do the big side. So I take it long ways, right? Like hot dog way. And I'm gonna like bend back. Oh! And I lay it down just about where like it starts to, you know, kind of fold over, like just about right there is where I'm gonna lay the first inch down. This is a lot harder for me doing it here instead of in front of a mirror. Okay, so I lay the first inch down. You want to activate it with the heat of your hand by rubbing it a little bit. It's going to help it stick. And now the rest of it, I'm going to grab right here. I'm going to bend over all the way so everything falls to the front. And you're going to use the tape. Let me show you this way. Use the tape to pull up like this under your armpit and lay it down like that while the tape is still slack, right? And then while it's slack with no tension, just smooth it out. And you want as little wrinkles as possible. So this is about how it looks after I put the first piece on. Not great. But that's okay because we're not done. I got big old swinging titties. So when I do the second piece, normally I would go, let's see, I think I put it higher up than I normally do. Normally I would go this way up, but right now I think that I need to do one more piece going this way before I do that. So I'm just gonna, if you're going to put Transtape on top of itself, what you need to do is make sure that the anchor points are touching your skin. What I mean by that is if the end of the tape is like touching the tape like this, it's not going to stick over time. It's going to start to undo itself. It'll only stick the best to your skin. So you need to make sure the end points are touching skin. So I'm just going to, I should have put this one down a little bit lower earlier. So I'm just going to fix that by laying this one down a little bit lower. See how it's touching the skin? You can see the piece of Transtape underneath of that. You make sure that the end points are touching the skin. And I'm going to do the same thing. But this time I'm just going to focus on pulling mostly the under part because that's where I messed up. Again, lay it down with slack and then smooth that out. There we go. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay. I pre-cut some pieces that might not be enough, so I might end up having to cut more pieces, but all right. Now I'm gonna do one that kind of goes diagonal to help form the like pec shape. So I'm gonna lay this piece down this way, kind of going diagonally up, right? So I'm gonna lay it down there and kind of let it fold in half. Kind of bend back and pull up. All right. All right. This one I might need to do some fixing up on, but we're just going to move on to the other side because the other side's easier for me. Again, I'm going to lay it down right about here. Rub it in. Grab the slack and bend over. Lay it down. Smooth out the slack. All right. See what I mean? This one's much smaller. So now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. And I'm gonna go bottom to top to cover up this part. So I'm just gonna lay it right there, smooth that out. Grab the slack, pull it up, lay it down, there we go. All right. There we go. I have one more piece left that I already cut, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put a second piece a little bit further down to cover, kind of smooth this part out a little bit. So it's not like every time I put it on isn't perfect all the time. Sometimes I have to do fixing up, and it's kind of up to you to listen to your body, to see what's going on and see what you need to do to it. See how you need to put on the next piece of tape to fix it. Oof. Normally I'm much better about the no wrinkles thing. You're not gonna want any wrinkles. They're gonna mess you up. They're gonna cause friction, and it's gonna cause some skin irritation. So there we go. That's about how I put it on every time. The same method, same way. Dry my skin off with alcohol, put it on, nipple guards, around your corners. Don't take it off without removal oil. And get yourself some healing salve, because I know I need it. My skin gets so angry sometimes afterwards because of my skin condition, and that healing salve is just amazing. I'm Dragon Bow Z on Instagram if anybody wants to send me a message and ask me any more follow-up questions about products I might use for my hives or anything like that. Anybody with similar skin conditions, if you want to give me a holler, go ahead. This side isn't the best. I'm actually going to redo this side later, but there you go.